So we're coming up to Holy Week next week, and as we approach Easter and we remember that story, we think about all the characters that make that story work alongside Jesus, and there are many. Peter, Mary Magdalene, but also people like Pilate and Barabbas. They're not always positive characters, they're not always positive stories. And central to that story is Judas Iscariot. He's known as the betrayer, he's known as the person who gives Jesus away. Without him, that story doesn't work. But can we look at Judas and think about character? Can we think about Judas in the same way that we think about characters who are heroes and heroines who've grown out of difficult stories and risen and changed because of the way they interacted with Jesus? Well, it's a tough one, but there's dark as well as light. In the way we think about character, in the way we think about ourselves, we're full of fear as well as full of faith. And Judas is a character who teaches us about how we react by his mistakes as well as by the things that, he gets right. So how do we respond to a character like Judas Iscariot? How do we think about him? Well, I want to start today with something that happened right at the start of Jesus' story and his ministry, and just one simple thought, that Jesus chose Judas. He went away and spent a night thinking and praying about who to choose as his 12 disciples, and Judas was amongst them. He didn't have to do that. I don't think he had to choose Judas, and yet he did. What do we make of that? Jesus chose Judas. Jesus chose a flawed, broken, disloyal, greedy, nationalistic human being to be one of his disciples. Did he know what was going to happen? Well, most of the gospel writers suggest yes, he did. And he still chose Judas. And he's chosen us. What do we make of that? Jesus chose Judas and he chooses us. Well, so often we think that being chosen is about what we achieve, what we're good at, what we've done. But the story of Judas must surely show us that it isn't about that at all. That being chosen is an act of Jesus' grace. It's his act. He chooses us. He chooses us because we're loved human beings, accepted human beings, chosen human beings for no other reason. And Judas was chosen. Judas was accepted and Judas was loved. Jesus chose Judas and he chooses us. There's no space anymore for us to worry about whether we've done enough, whether we're good enough. Jesus chose Judas and he chooses us.